In this video, we're going to do validation rules, and this is a great way to reduce the chance of any data entry errors. So if you're ever creating an application in Excel for other people to use and you want to make sure that there aren't going to be any clerical errors, you can actually do things such as giving them warning errors. You can restrict what they can input into a cell, or even give them a list. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work with the invoice data section on the left-hand side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create an input message for the ticket quantity cell. So I'm going to go ahead and click on cell B8. Now when you do a validation rule, you can only have one validation rule per cell. So keep that in mind, because if you go back and create a second validation rule for the same cell, the first one gets wiped out. So the first thing you want to do, step one, is select the cell that you want to have the validation rule apply to. Step 2, from the Data tab, you want to go over to the Data Tools, and then you want to click on Data Validation. Step 3, you want to click on Data Validation from the list. Now let's go and take a look at our options here. We're going to work from left to right on the tabs, and then on each tab from top down. The first one you want to do is you want to do the Settings tab. And this is basically identifying what you allow in that cell. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the drop menu and choose whole number. And then the second thing you can do is you can identify if there's a range, or you can choose any of these other scenarios. So we're going to say they can choose between 1 and 19. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to do an input message, and this is a message that will show up when the cell is selected, and we can also give this a title as well. So the next thing we're going to do on the input message, let's see, on this one, we'll just call this one number of tickets. And then the message that we want to have show up for the individual is to say, enter the number of tickets purchased. Alright, now the third and final thing you're going to want to do is the alert. So if they entered the wrong number, you want a message to pop and say, hey, you need to enter between 1 and 19 at this point. So this will only show up if what they entered was not valid. So in this one, we're going to have, instead of a stop, we're just going to say make it a warning, and then the title will be, I'll just call it invalid data. Let's see, and then what it is, number of tickets. No. All right, then we'll go down to the message that we want them to see. It's indicating that there was an error. Okay, you have entered a value, it's going to be a little lengthy here, folks, less than 1 or greater than 19. Check the number you entered. Then you also want to make sure they understand what their options are at this point. If this is correct, click yes. If it is, well, we'll just say incorrect. Incorrect. Click no. Let's put the comma in there. Grammatically correct. Alright, and then the last one is if you are not sure, click cancel. What's going to happen is when this message pops up, this is the message that will be displayed in the dialog box, but then they'll have 3 buttons to choose from: yes, no, or cancel. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and click OK. And you can see there's the validation message, the number of tickets, and it's telling them what they need to do. So let's just test this out. Let's just come over here. Let's come back to cell B8. There it is. It shows up. Let's enter, well, let's go for 21 and press the enter key. And that's loud. Alright, there you go. There's the error message that pops up. So that was the third tab that we were on. It says you have entered a value less than 1 or greater than 19. Check the number you entered. If this is correct, click yes. If this is incorrect, click no. If you're not sure, click cancel. And we're going to go ahead and do cancel at this point, and we'll go ahead and leave it at 4. Alright, now what we're going to do, let's see, the next thing is, let's go ahead and let's do a list here. So we'll go down to our series list. Okay, here's what we're going to do on this one. we're going to go ahead and have a list show up for them to choose from rather than them type A through F. So we're at the cell B9. Let's go to validation or data validation and choose data validation. Alright, we're going to go to setting, and it says any value. We're going to change that to a list. And instead of us typing the list, what we're going to do is we're going to click where it's located in the worksheet. So we're going to go ahead and click in source. And I'm just going to highlight the cells A16 through A21. Note that this will be an absolute cell address. And then we're going to go to the message. And then let's see, since this is the series at this point, so what we're going to do in the message, we'll say, let's go ahead and give it a title here. If I can get this working right. Come on, there we go. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just, let's see, let's give this a name. Let's go ahead and call it, what is this? Series list. Alright, and this is the message we're going to have. Click the arrow and select one of the choices in the list. Alright, there we go. So we have the message at this point, and let's go ahead and click on the error alert, what we want to have show up, and we're going to go ahead on the stop. We'll go ahead and leave it on stop, and in the text box title, we'll just call this invalid series. And then we'll just state an invalid series has been entered. I'm not going to finish the rest of it out, but then you can tell them what to do at this point. Alright, so we have the settings. In this case, we've changed it to allow a list, to ignore blanks, and in cell drop down menu, which means it's going to be inside the cell. And then we select the cells that contain what's going to be on that list. The second thing is the input message, to show the input message when the cell is selected. And then the third is if they accidentally do something that they shouldn't have done, then we want this error message to show up. So let's go ahead and click OK. And we'll click off of that cell. We'll go back to that cell. Now you can see this is from the input message. Click the arrow and select one of the choices in the list. And I'll go ahead and select B. There we go. Alright, we have it. Very good. Alright, so that's how we can go ahead and create a list. We'll go ahead and create one more list here. We'll do this for the location. So at this point, we're going to select B10, data validation again. We're going to go to settings. We're going to make this a list. And then we're going to go ahead and choose B15 to C16. And we'll go ahead and the input message, we'll just type location and then select orchestra or balcony. And then we'll go to the alert, and on the alert we'll have stop, and then we'll call this invalid location. We'll say you have chosen an invalid location. We won't finish the rest of it out from here. We'll go ahead and click OK. And there you go. So we'll come to location, we'll click on the list, and we'll choose orchestra. Alright, so you can see that even doing the validation rule, doing the list, makes it very easy for data input so that you can avoid any errors at this point. Now what we're going to do is, on testing it, one of the things, the test data validation rule that we're doing is that we're entering some numbers. We're just going to see what happens. There we go. We got that one. Let's type in G. There we go again. Let's type in, we'll just type in A. And there we go again. So you can see all of that works for you. And that's how you can do the validations.